causal relationships. It says, which of the following statements is correct with respect to masticating of food? Food is masticated primarily in border movements. Wrong. Food is masticated primarily in lateral contacting movements. Yeah. Got to be working side. An ideal occlusion is a requisite for mastication. That's what the key put down. That's incorrect. The proper incisor contact is a requisite for mastication. No. Indigestion generally related to inadequate mastication of food. Unfortunately, that answer is also correct, but we won't push the board people for that. So the proper answer on that is that food is masticated primarily in lateral contact movement. So those three questions have been taken off. So you guys will all get 3 more points added to your test for the midterm, which basically goes up, your percentage goes up 6%. So, one of the other questions was number 10 on the quiz. Patient presents with traumatic fall. Clinical exam reveals that the lingual cusp of tooth number 5 is broken off. This is most likely due to which mandibular movement occurring during trauma? The left mediotrusive. Mesio. It's actually medial too. Okay. Now one of your classmates brought up the fact, well, wait a minute, if we're going into a left mediotrusive movement, the teeth should be separated. Correct? Posterior teeth should separate in lateral movements. Okay, the other problem is, it says during a traumatic incident. Even though the jaw may be going this way, if the trauma came to this side of the jaw, and it was cusp to cusp, you can dislocate the jaw and cause that trauma. But the only way that you could get those two cusps to pass by one another to get a trauma like that is in a left mesiotrusive movement. So if we switch it around and it's another cusp on the other side, you've got to think about how are those cusps passing by one another, which one would get to apposition. Okay? Now, how many people have seen this diagram? Get it on the video? Good indication.
Can I ask a question about the last? Did you say there's 2 answers on that last question?
No, not on the last question.
I thought the question was the lingual cusp of tooth number 5 was the one with 2.
Is that the one with
the first one? If so, can you explain it? First lower line. There you go, that one right there. First one. You gotta go a little further back. You gotta give a little extra credit.
That's the way it's drawn on that diagram right there. Okay, hold on. You're right. It was 28 that had that question. Was the number 5 question. That one was eliminated from the exam because of the 2 answers.
But what was the other answer? Can you just explain the other answer?
Well, you got either a left mesiotrusive or a right lateral.
Right lateral.
What happens over here if you're doing left mesiotrusive? So when you're saying
left and right.
I'm sorry, it's the left lateral intrusive. Right. Right. So mesio-intrusive and lateral intrusive. Right. There are two answers.
Right.
They're going on both sides.
Those are the
of
two answers.
Those are the two answers. Okay, so that question is eliminated. I won't put that back on the final either, I promise. Not with those two answers. Yeah.
Are mesio-intrusive and medio-intrusive?
Huh?
What's the difference between mesio and medio-intrusive?
Actually, it should be different words, because mesio should be that it's going towards the mesial surface. Medio means that it's going towards the midline. But in this movement, it actually goes forward and towards the center. So it's mesio-intrusive. If the cusp is coming, it's on the orbiting side, so it's coming forward and anterior towards the midline. Remember those diagrams we showed?
Wouldn't it ever make a medio-intrusive movement?
Straight medio-intrusive? It's actually blocked from making a medio-intrusive movement because it's connected on the other side. The only way, if you have side shift, bended shift, so there is some fishtailing in the mandible side to side, then you could get a straight medio-intrusive movement. It would be very small. Okay? Yes?
You also had a question about 46 and the one about plaster on which we use plaster on casts because of what's physical characteristics. The key says that there's minimal expansion, but it looks also that the rapid setting time was a potential answer. I'm just wondering why minimum expansion was right.
Okay, when you're mounting cast, why are you mounting it? Huh? Okay. If you had a lot of expansion of stone, what would happen?
It would just throw their inclusion on.
Right.
Okay.
So we use impression plaster in mounting primarily for minimal expansions. Problem is, the upper class when we're all taught it was because of maximum expansion. And that's what the upperclassmen were taught. Okay? And so when they got to fixed prof, and they were asked that question and they gave that answer, Dr. Bowe went ballistic. So I knew that that answer had to be on an exam that you guys would know. So that you can't go to Dr. Bowe's class, say Dr. Parminter said it was because of set really fast. Because then I am the parent of 144 of you. Dr. Bowe thinks it's me. Now, he was one of my students, so he already has a claim to think I'm an idiot. But it's not right. In that situation, when we're using it for mounting casts, it's because it has minimal expansion. An advantage is that it has a rapid setting time, so that you don't have to hold the casts together for so long. Okay? Now the problem is when you go to skirt or fill in with plaster, if you put a lot of extra water in the plaster that you're adding, there can be enough expansion in that plaster because we just do the primary little dots together. You put too much water, water will be incorporated in there, and there will be crystalline growth in the other plaster, and that can set your whole mounting off. Okay? But, you know, if your mounting's off, are you going to continue to go through a waxing exercise? No. Okay. There's a whole bunch of you in class that need it. There's a whole bunch of you even today that don't have properly mounted caps. It's only 12 weeks in, people. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, if it's off, you're never going to be able to correct the error unless you re-correct the cast. So you're better off to start and redo things. Okay? So when you get into fabricating provisionals and fixed profs,